I'm that stone kid, the kid that brings you okay content sometimes, and today we're looking at my favorite game of 2019, Luigi's Mansion 3, a part of the trilogy of Luigi's Mansion 1 for the GameCube, Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon for the 3DS, which I don't have a box for, and the best one out of all of them, Luigi's Mansion 3. So first, I'm going to be talking about the setting. It's no longer a mansion, it's more like a hotel, and the whole plot is that King Boo trapped a couple of Toads and Mario and Peach in paintings, like as you do in a Luigi's Mansion game, and just got rescued. That's the whole story. That's literally all of it. And I'm going to talk about some of the new additions that Luigi has. He has his basic dark light that was introduced in Luigi's Mansion 2, and he has a plunger that he can shoot and he can pull from. That is used a lot in boss fights and basic puzzle solving, but they incorporate that really well with the surroundings that you always have to use it. And my favorite and newest addition, Luigi. Luigi is a character which you can deploy from your vacuum, and he only has 25 health and he can't go in water or he disintegrates, and he's very malleable. Thank you, Miss Tucker. So she can go to bars and stuff like that and slip through. And I love Luigi as a mechanic because when you pull out Luigi, you can't use Luigi at the same time. So it's really kind of like you really gotta play both sides of the coin. And he's used fairly well in the boss fights. Like there was one, it was a big T-Rex, and you had to get the T-Rex to step on Luigi, so he would get stuck and you had to shoot something at his rib cage. So like he is incorporated very well in the level design and the boss fights. That is just so good to me, and they really incorporated. They never threw out a mechanic like that. And also, I'm going to be talking about the boss fights. The boss fights are really good in their own different way, and they all kind of incorporate into the hotel facade, such as like there's the gardener, there's the bellhop, there's the manager, there's stuff like that. Like it incorporates to what a hotel would be, but there's also some stuff like movie director and night. It's like you don't need that. It's not like hotel, but like they're all really good. This game is a real return to form to the original Luigi's Mansion. See how classy that was? It's just a really good game. And you know how good it is? My 51-year-old father, who's the chair of surgery at St. Clair's, loves this. And he doesn't love new games. He loves the old NES ones, but he loves this. He loves it. It's amazing. And a couple other things to talk about, like how just the graphics are so damn good and the lighting effects. Like the first time you meet King Boo, he's got his crown on and his piercing purple eyes, and you could just see the reflection of King Boo on Luigi. It's just so friggin' good how we have the technology to do that. And I'm going to talk about why this is my favorite game of 2019. Why? Because first, nostalgia for the first one. So when this one came out, I was ecstatic, and there was a new gameplay mechanic coming out, and EGAD was coming back. I love EGAD, and I love Luigi, and they all used it so well. Everything was well-rounded, and it was just, oh my god, it was just amazing. I got this for Christmas, and from the Switch games I got Pokemon Sword, Shield, Legends of Zelda Link's Awakening, and Luigi's Mansion 3. I put this one in right away because I wanted to start it so bad. I beat it in less than a month. I loved it so much. And all the puzzles in it, the puzzles just add a good pinch of difficulty, but they're never too hard that you need a walkthrough. And there's always these new mechanics to come in with the puzzle solving, like you gotta burn webs, you gotta use Luigi in a different way. Like a big mechanic that's there now is, with Luigi, if you shoot your plunger at something, and like it won't stick onto everything. Like there was this part in the garden where a big watermelon was blocking the way, so you had to shoot your plunger at it, start to pull it, then you had to bring out Luigi, but Luigi would still be pulling the plunger, so you'd have Luigi shoot a plunger and him pull it. So, and then they would knock it down. So it's good back and forth with Luigi like that, and sometimes using Luigi and Luigi at the same time doing the same thing. In another case, like there was a bit in the game where you kind of had like a strip mall deal, and to open one of the doors, you had to have Luigi angle his vacuum up at one side and angle Luigi's vacuum up at one side. So it really incorporated well that the fact that you had to use Luigi and Luigi, and sometimes during the game, there's a whole boss fight in a gym that's all based on you using Luigi. It's all that. You barely ever use Luigi. So it gives Luigi and Luigi a good equal time in the spotlight. Maybe Luigi a little bit more on depending your playstyle, but most of the time they rest at the same. But this game is not too hard. It's not too easy. And some of the boss fights get a little hard. Because they're always throwing crap at you. Like the last boss, not King Boo, the manager of the hotel. Oh my god, I died like twice on. Because with that last boss, you had to get good with Luigi. Because you had to have him slip through grates and activate switches. And water always keeps running through. So your timing and your dodging and being able to switch back from Luigi to Luigi is really, really hard. Like, I'm afraid from when my dad plays it because I know he's going to get his ass kicked by it. It took me 2 times to do it. I wonder how many times it's going to take him. And the last boss at King Boo, he wasn't extremely hard, but, like, he had a good little bit there. Like, it's all, like, I'm a big Punch-Out fan because it's all pattern memorization. With almost every single boss fight in this game is just pattern memorization. If you know their moves and you know how to dodge them, they're pretty easy. And one big fight to turn up that never used Luigi was in the boiler room. The boiler room involved using a lot of water, like either upping or lowering. And you had to use Luigi for the fight, in which you were sitting in a tube, and you had to go around and get this guy in like a circular area. And you couldn't go to the walls because the walls were filled with spikes. And what's great about this one and every other boss fight, that there will be a mechanic that will be used in the fight, but it will be on each and every floor. Like, it will tell you the mechanic and how you can get good at it. Like, the tube mechanic was used throughout the whole floor. And by the way, the whole system's on floors. And every time you beat a boss, you get a new elevator button. You go higher and higher. But the mechanic that's going to be used in the boss fight is used constantly throughout. Like, as aforementioned, the tube part. And also, for the second or third boss fight, you had to use Luigi a lot, so it involved Luigi slipping through the bars a lot. So it incorporates every single mechanic that you need for the boss fight on the friggin' floor. And the bosses... Oh my god, the bosses are so good. It's a real return to form, even though that's redundant to the original Luigi's Mansion. There was a special boss for every single floor, and they were all incorporated to what they did. It is just so good, and they're charming, and the music form is just, oh my god, it's just amazing. Like, there was one where you had to fight a guy who was like in like Mozart. So he had a really big piano theme song. Like, that is so good. I can't believe how someone can have this much imagination that they can put this in a game like that. It's just so amazing. And other compositions, like the boiler room, the ghost was like a ratty, like, construction worker. So it really gave him an industrial sound. Like, it's really good. The music matches to whatever theme it is. It's just how they can pair these up and make this music is fantastic. I just can't believe it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's better than the original Luigi's Mansion just because Luigi is just so damn charming and hilarious. But, final verdict, I give Luigi's Mansion 3 a 10 out of 10. Goodbye. I'm that Stone Kid. Huh!